Welcome, Notary Blessings family. Thank you for viewing the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button because in the next video, I will be detailing how to get business and more. You don't want to miss it. Before we go over how to get business, I want to make sure that you know what to do at a signing table and how to explain and notarize the documents for correctness so that you can get steady business. Remember, we want to be at 100K a year, so we don't want to make mistakes. So the first document is the Patriot Act form. And before we get started, just know that you can download all of these documents. Link in the description. If you can, download them, print them out, go along if you can. So this is the Patriot Act form, and its purpose is to prevent terrorism and money laundering activities. This is a crucial and important form, and every signing agent should know how to fill this out correctly. Again, correctly. This form requires you to write down the signer's identification. Excuse me. Some forms require 2 forms of ID and some only require 1. You'll know because of right here it says at least 2 forms right there. Pay special attention to how many forms of ID are required. So it's going to ask you to check 2 of these right here. You got the state driver's license, the state ID, passport, military ID, resident, alien card. You're going to have to fill out the place of issuance, ID number, date of birth, issuance date on top, expiration date on bottom, and does it have a photo, yes or no? And the second part of this document, is here, page 2. Any additional comments that you need to write down about the ID, and then the signature, date, name, and title. So signature is a signature of you, the notary, and today's date, and the name, your name and title. So the notary's name slash title, notary signing agent. So in the next slide, we're going to see how it looks filled out. So this is the same document, but we got a driver license here, issuance USA, Texas, the ID number on the driver license, the person's birthday, the issuance day of the driver license, the expiration date of the driver license, and does it have a photo? Yes. Same for ID card, place of issuance, ID number, date of birth, issuance date, expiration date, ID, photo ID. Yes. And the second page, the notary's name is Cody Johnson. Signature, date, the name of the notary again, printed, Cody Johnson. His title, Notary Signing Agent. And that's it for Patriot Act form. Again, you can download it in the description. Next, we have the signature affidavit and AKA statement. The signature and name affidavit lists variations of the borrower's name, such as AKAs that the lender may have located when checking their credit or when the title search was completed. The variations may differ from their name as it appears on the lender's loan document. So this is the signature name affidavit. The borrower will sign his name here the same way that is printed here. And for each variation they will also sign their name exactly how it's printed on the left. After they sign their name, you will fill in the state and the county, the day of the month, the year. They will need to give an oath because it says subscribed and sworn. The notary will sign his name and stamp. On the next page, we're going to look at how it is filled out. So as you can see, the signer signed his name exactly how it is on the left. Every time, exactly how it is on the left. Each variation. And then you have the state of Texas, the county of Glass, first day of November 2021. Notary stamp will go here, and the notary signature. Now, if this space is too small, because when you stamp, you don't want anything overlapping, you can just stamp it at the bottom. And that is the signature name affidavit. How I would present this is the signature name affidavit. It lists your full name here. I need you to sign exactly how your name is printed. These are any variations that the lender has found for your name, and I need you to also sign the exact way that it's printed on the right side. Next up is a notice of right to cancel. The notice of right to cancel lets the borrower know that they have 3 business days to cancel their loan if they choose to. Lending business days include Saturday but not Sunday or a holiday. As a signing agent, it is your responsibility to make sure that this is correct, because if not, it will result in a re-sign at your expense even though the lender drafted the doc. So you want to make sure that the transaction date up here is correct, and you want to make sure that the date here at the bottom is exactly 3 business days. Now where it says I wish to cancel, the signer will not sign there unless they want it to cancel. They will sign here at the bottom under acknowledgement of receipt. They will sign and date that. I would present this document as this is a notice of right to cancel. It lets you know you have 3 business days from today to cancel. So you would have until March 16th. I just need you to sign and date the bottom here. All right, so right here we have the notice of right to cancel filled out. The signer signed his name and dated. And again, his signature mimics was his name printed under. Next, we have the closing disclosure. And the closing disclosure itemizes all closing costs. Page 1 includes loan amount, interest rate, projected monthly payments, closing costs, and cash to close. The remaining pages include details of the closing costs, payoffs, and payments, cash to close calculations, disclosures, loan calculations, and contact information. Please note the borrower should have received this document from his or her lender in advance to the closing. The first page is the most important, then the third and the fifth. It is not your job to go into deep detail about the numbers. You can call the lender so they can ask questions, and the lender's information is on page 5. But before we get there, I just want to go over the first page. So I will say hi. This is your closing disclosure. They should have sent this to you already. As you can see, your disbursement date is right here. Your loan amount is right here. Your interest rate is right here. Your monthly principal and interest is right here. This is your escrow amount right here. So for the first 4 years, you will be paying this amount. And for the remaining, you will be paying this amount. Also, I am required to receive $2,666.92 from you, either check, money order, or if you wired it, then you don't owe anything today. And again, you want to go to page 3, because page 3 has information for the lender and the settlement agent, title company. And you're going to want to call if they have questions. So you will call the lender if they have questions about the closing disclosure, and you will call the title company if they had questions about the settlement statement. And on this page, you're going to get them to sign and date, and we can see what that looks like right here. Full name and date. And that's the closing disclosure. Next up, we have the note, a very important document, a critical document. The note is a written promise to pay a sum of money at a stated interest rate during a specified term. This is the signer's contract, their promise to pay. Do not take this document as it can invalidate the note. Whoever signs this is the only borrowers on the loan. So as you can see, you have the amount, the loan amount here, interest rate here, first payment date here, last payment date here, and the principal and interest here does not include escrow. Okay, yeah, principal and interest here does not include escrow. On the second page, under borrower's failure to pay, that lets them know that if they miss a payment after the 15th calendar day that it's due, they will have a 4% increase for that payment. And they need to sign, and again, do not date the note. This is what it looks like. Sign a signature only, and that's it for the note. Next up, we have the deed of trust. The deed of trust is the biggest document in the set. This document puts the property in the signer's name and is recorded in county records. The spouse, if applicable, also has to sign regardless of if they are a borrower or not. So this is the deed of trust. It's the security instrument. As you can see at the bottom, it says borrower in a line. That means it wants the borrower's initials. So in this case, it's just Richard William Roger. And a married man, he would need to initial this page and each other page. As you can see here, it's asking for initials again. At the top, if any of these boxes have a check, that means following the deed of trust, that document will also appear in the package. Again, right here at the bottom, initial, bottom of this page, initial, Bottom of this page, initial, 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 initial. The signer will sign. If you are in a state that requires witnesses, the witnesses will sign and print their name. Certain states require witnesses for the deed of trust, and certain states don't. This is for the notary to fill out. The notary put in the venue here, the state, the county that they are currently in, the date, the notary's name, double check that the signer's name is correct. Notary will sign, notary will type, notary will print their name and stamp here. So this is just how it looks filled out. Initial here, initial here. Each page at the bottom has an initial. And they should initial their full name. However it's printed, that's how they initial. Signer signed this page. No witnesses needed for the state. Again, this is the notary to fill out. State Texas, county blast, the date, notary's name, notary stamp, notary signature, notary printed name. Next up is the condominium rider. There are different types of riders in a package. We have a condominium rider. A rider is an attachment to the deed of trust. This rider states the property is in a condominium. This lists the name and covenants. And the signer just needs to know that it's an attachment to the deed of trust and to sign here because their property is located in Oak Creek condominiums. This is how it looks filled out. Signature only. Next, we have the occupancy and financial status affidavit. This form states the intended purpose of the property. Either it's going to be the borrower's principal residence, second home, or investment property. And it's checked here for principal residence. The signer needs to sign here, and the notary needs to fill this out and give a jurat. Here, the signer signed, dated. The notary filled this out and gave a jurat. Next, we have a limited power of attorney. This form allows the lender or title company to correct any typographical errors on the signer's behalf, such as name, address, things like that. The signer has to sign, date. This is for you, the notary, to fill out. If the if this page didn't have limited power of attorney, I would attach a separate acknowledgement, but since it does state the title of the document, I will fill this out. And this is with the signer's signature and date. And this is how the notary should fill it out. State of Texas, County of Blast, on the date, before me, notary's name, comma, notary public, signature of the notary, and notary stamp here. Last but not least, this is the excuse me. Last but not least, this is the Uniform Residential Loan Agreement. This is the final type version of the loan application. Only the borrowers will sign this form. A non-borrowing spouse will not sign this form. This will have the income and employment dates and figures on it. This is actually an older version. Some people still use it, but I'll have an updated one in a different video. But it's going to require the borrower's signature here, their information. They need to initial, 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 sign date, initial, sign date. And this is how it looks filled out. The signer signed his name, initialed the bottom, initialed, 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 signed, dated, initialed, signed, dated. And that's how it looks filled out. Now, if there was another borrower, so if on the note it didn't just say his name, it said maybe his wife's name, then the wife would sign on this page as well, initial, the same as he did. These are just some of the critical and important documents that are in the loan package. I will be detailing more documents in the upcoming video, so make sure to subscribe so that you won't miss them. Now that you are aware of the critical documents, I will show you how to get business so that you can start making money. Also, check the links in the description for additional resources. I have cheat sheets you can print out and take with you. Also, follow me on Instagram for quick access to reference material. Until next time, notary blessings to you all.